Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take sources you send our way, unpack them, and pull out the most fascinating bits of knowledge.
Basically, yeah. We do the digging so you get the insights without all the legwork.
Exactly. And today we're diving into something really interesting based on an article from TATANKA you shared.
Right. This one's called Soul Crushing, Reimagining Mariam Banani's Kinetic Art Through AI-Generated Sound. Catchy title.
It is. And it describes how an artist, JJ, took Mariam Banani's sculpture, Soul Crushing,
Yeah.
which is kinetic, it moves, and created this whole new sound experience using AI. It's quite a leap.
Totally. So our main source is that TATANKA article, right? It covers Banani's original work and then this AI adaptation by JJ.
Yep. And our mission, let's say, for this deep dive is to really understand how one artwork can, inspire a totally different piece.
Especially using these specific tools, AI, and also aleatory processes, chance. Basically.
Great chance. So we're looking at the layers here.
Yeah.
The original sculpture, the AI, the randomness. It's a lot to unpack.
Definitely. Where should we start? Maybe with the original artist.
Good idea. Let's start with Mariam Banani. For listeners who might not know her, who is she? What's her background?
Okay, so Mariam Banani, she's based in New York now, but originally from Rabat, Morocco, born in 1988.
Okay.
And she works across, well, a bunch of mediums. Video, sculpture, immersive installations. Quite versatile.
And themes. What kind of ideas does she explore?
A lot about identity, gender, digital culture, things like that. But often with this, real sense of humor and a critical edge.
Yeah.
You know?
Humor, yeah. You mentioned that before. That's always intriguing in contemporary art. What about her training?
She's got solid credentials.
Yeah.
An MFA in animation from Paris, from the École Nationale Supérieure des Arts Décoratifs in 2011.
Ah, animation. Interesting.
Yeah, and before that, a BFA from the Cooper Union right here in New York in 2012. So that animation background, it kind of pops up.
You can see how that might feed into installations, maybe. The movement, the storytelling.
Exactly. Like a good example people might know is Two Lizards.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
Right, the video series from 2020 she did with Orion Barkey.
Yeah.
It's about, life in NYC during the pandemic lockdowns. Used animation, sort of documentary style. It was funny, a bit surreal, but also really relatable about that whole weird time.
Yeah, captured that feeling. And she's shown in some major places, right?
Oh, definitely. Places like MoMA PS1, the Whitney Biennial. So yeah, her work gets significant attention. It resonates.
Okay, so that gives us a good sense of Banani. Animation background, interest in culture, humor. Which brings us to Soul Crushing, the piece at Fondazione Prada in 2024.
Right. Soul crushing.
Yeah, what's this thing? The core idea.
Okay, get this. It's basically a giant musical instrument.
Yeah.
A kinetic percussive instrument made of 192 flip-flops.
Flip-flops, like beach sandals.
Exactly. But not just any flip-flops. They were apparently chosen really carefully, different styles, different sole thicknesses.
Why flip-flops specifically?
Well, that's key. The article points out how they're, universal, but also carry totally different cultural weight, right? Casual wear here, maybe, but elsewhere, a signifier of poverty or specific social groups.
Interesting point. Taking something mundane and making you really look at it.
Totally. Elevating it. Forcing you to think about the history and the baggage attached to this everyday object.
So how did it make sense? You said it was percussive.
Yeah, it used this thing she called a breathing pneumatic system, some kind of air-powered mechanism.
Okay.
That would basically activate the flip-flops, make them slap or move or hit things rhythmically. Imagine, like an automated sandal orchestra.
Wow. Okay. Was it just random noise or was there music involved?
No, definitely not random. There was a custom composition by someone called 𝗬𝗓𝗓.
𝗬𝗓𝗓, got it.
And Banani's description of the music is amazing. She called it wait, let me find it. A 𝗧𝗔𝗧𝗔𝗓𝗑 duende ballet riot.
Whoa. Break that down.
Okay, so 𝗧𝗓𝗓 and regatta, that's like North African folk, street music vibes.
Right.
Energetic duende that evokes intense flamenco passion, maybe some dark theatricality. Ballet adds that structured movement feel. And then riot, just raw, maybe distorted, clashing sounds.
So a real mix of harmony and chaos.
Exactly. Harmony and dissonance, intentionally broad.
Sounds incredibly complex, and she didn't build this alone, presumably.
No way.
Yeah.
Big collaboration. Engineers from Studio Anderley worked on that whole pneumatic system.
Makes sense.
Tecnolegno Allestimenti handled the wooden structures, the framework, and of course the Fondazione Prada team was involved in putting it all together.
So it was a major production. Beyond the sound, what was the bigger message? You mentioned the cultural weight of flip-flops.
Yeah, that was central, making us reconsider this everyday thing. But there was more, too. An animated film by Change Me and Half Boy accompanied it,
Oh, okay.
and a catalog designed by Tiff Latif with essays digging into the sociopolitical history of flip-flops. So the sound was just one part of this bigger exploration.
It's layered then, not just an auditory thing, but visual, historical, cultural.
Precisely.
Yeah.
That's very typical of her work, it seems. Using humor, using the familiar, but pushing you to think about things like post-colonial identity, global consumerism, all through the lens of a flip-flop.
It's quite profound, actually. Okay, so that's soul-crushing. Complex, noisy, full of meaning. Now, let's shift gears to JJ.
Right, the AI adaptation.
Who is JJ, and how did they connect with Banani's piece?
The article just calls JJ an artist and sound explorer. Clearly, they saw or heard about soul crushing and were, like, really drawn to it.
And decided to reinterpret it with AI.
Yeah, using 𝗧𝗔𝗧𝗔𝗓, which is one of these AI music generation tools that are becoming more common.
Okay.
But the interesting thing isn't just that they used AI, it's how. They specifically wanted to merge aleatory processes, that chance element again,
Right.
with the AI tech and with the actual sounds from Banani's original piece.
Ah, so it wasn't just inspired by the idea, it used the sound itself.
Exactly, that's crucial. JJ's goal, according to the article, was a composition that resists authorship and embraces chance, kind of letting go of control.
That's a fascinating goal for an artist. How did they actually do it? What was the process?
Okay, first step, get the original sound. JJ downloaded a video of soul crushing.
Yeah.
Imported it into Audacity and, the free audio software. And then, importantly, just exported the raw audio. No cleaning it up, no effects, just the pure sound of the flip-flops slapping and the machinery whirring.
The raw material.
Exactly. That raw WAV file became the seed. They uploaded that sound into Suno.
Okay, so the AI had the original sonic texture to start with.
Precisely. But they didn't just hit go, they guided the AI using prompts. And here's the cool part. The prompts were taken directly from Banani's own description of the music.
You mean the 𝗧𝗔𝗕𝗓𝗓 ballet riot thing?
That whole phrase, plus another bit of psychosomatic frequencies about flip-flop histories and sociopolitical percussive threads.
Psychosomatic frequencies. What does that even mean in this context?
Right. It's evocative, though. Suggests sounds that hit you on, like, an emotional or psychological level, not just physical. Tapping into those subconscious flip-flop associations, maybe.
Huh. Deep. So how did JJ use those phrases as prompts?
They basically use those keywords to guide the style and mood for different AI generations. 𝗧𝗔𝗕𝗓𝗓 for that North African energy. 𝗬𝗓𝗓 ballet for intensity and tension. Riot for something rougher, more distorted.
And psychosomatic frequencies.
Maybe steered it towards more experimental, ambient, or texturally weird stuff. It's like giving the AI very specific but also quite poetic instructions.
Like a really detailed, slightly surreal mood board for sound.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So the AI generates multiple tracks based on these prompts and that original seed sound.
And then?
And then comes the chance part. JJ took all these AI-generated tracks and just randomly sequenced them, put them one after another in a random order to create one long piece.
No mixing, no mastering.
Nope, just raw sequenced output, really committing to that resisting authorship idea, letting the chance and the AI dictate the final flow.
That's pretty radical. And didn't the article say something about the visuals also being random?
It did, yeah. So Suno, when it generates a track, it also spits out an AI-generated image to go with it.
Okay.
JJ took those images, didn't filter or edit them, and just randomized their sequence, too, to match the audio. Even the thumbnail for the project was picked randomly from that set.
So the whole thing, sound and image, is this kind of unpredictable flow dictated by chance and the AI's interpretation of Banani's concepts.
Exactly. It's a real trip.
Yeah.
And JJ is careful to say it's not a remix or a cover.
What do they call it then?
They use phrases like channel transmission or a resonance of Banani's work.
Channeled transmission. Like JJ is just the medium for this transformation.
Kind of, yeah. The idea was to use soul crushing as a muse and minimize their own deliberate intervention. Let technology be like a mirror held up to the muse, reflecting and twisting that original energy.
That's a really interesting way to think about using AI in art, not just as a tool, but as something else, a collaborator almost.
Or a weird mirror, yeah.
So if people want to hear this channeled transmission, where do they go?
The TATANKA article has the links. It's available for streaming online.
Yeah.
There's a YouTube link, too. presumably with the randomized visuals.
Yeah.
And you can even download the audio files for free.
Cool. They really want people to experience it.
Seems like it's presented as this living conversation,
Yeah.
between Banani and JJ, even though they didn't directly collaborate, and between humans and machines, and even poetically between the flip-flop and the frequency.
Ah, I like that. It really is quite a journey when you think about it. From physical flip-flops being pneumatically slapped to this complex sound piece by 𝗬𝗓, and then transformed again by JJ using AI and chants into a whole new audio-visual thing.
It really does showcase something new, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How AI might not just replicate, but actually collaborate in creating something genuinely different, taking the essence of one piece and spinning it out into another dimension.
Yeah, it raises so many questions about what authorship means now, how artists relate to technology. It's constantly changing.
It really is.
So maybe the final thought for you, our listener, as you mull this over, think about that. How can the core energy, the spirit maybe of one creative work, jump into a totally different medium?
Right, especially using these unexpected technologies. What does that transformation tell us about how art evolves, how inspiration works?
Yeah.
Especially now.
Definitely food for thought. A really fascinating example of where art and tech can intersect.
Absolutely. It's about that dialogue, isn't it? Between forms, between artists, between the planned and the random. Really cool stuff.